Imagine a small cut on your hand. Nothing dramatic, just a scrape. Now imagine that scrape being a death sentence. Not today, but for almost all of human history. No soap. No way to wash away the invisible killers living on your own skin, in your wounds, on your food. For thousands of years, humans didn't know what was hunting them. They just knew people who got sick, often didn't come back. And the first weapon they ever built against an enemy they couldn't see wasn't a sword. It was ash and fat, mixed by hand, in the dark, long before anyone understood why it worked. Here's the strange part. The people who invented soap had no idea what bacteria was. No microscopes existed. No germ theory. Modern soap works by grabbing oil, grime, and microbes with one end of its molecule, while the other end binds to water, letting all of it rinse away. But the humans who first mixed ash and animal fat together weren't chasing a scientific theory. They were chasing a feeling, the difference between clean and unclean, safe and dangerous. Picture a hunter after a kill, crouched by a river, blood dried onto his hands, scrubbing them with wet ash from last night's fire because somehow, without knowing why, it felt like it worked better than water alone. That instinct became a discovery in Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, around 2800 BCE. A mixture of water, wood ash, and animal fat was likely used for cleaning textiles rather than personal hygiene at first. A cuneiform tablet dated to roughly 2200 BCE goes further, an actual written recipe for combining fats with alkali. The oldest known soap instructions in human history. Here's where the story gets contested, and it matters. Many sources credit the Babylonians. But Babylon didn't exist as a political power that early. The people actually responsible were most likely their predecessors, the Sumerians. Picture a Sumerian priest, before a sacred ritual, washing his hands and arms with this same ash and fat mixture, not just to look clean, but because he believed something unseen clung to him, and this was the only way to strip it away. Sumerian priests used the oldest soaps for ritualistic purification before sacred rites. Cleanliness and fear of the unknown tangled together from day one. And for nearly 4,000 years after that, humans kept making soap, without ever knowing what it was actually fighting. By 1500 BCE, that unknowing had crossed into Egypt. Picture a mother in a mud brick home, pressing a soft paste of oil and alkaline salt onto her child's scraped knee, murmuring a prayer over it because medicine and magic hadn't separated yet. Egyptian medical texts describe exactly this kind of paste, used to treat skin disease. The Egyptians even folded these compounds into mummification, believing the dead needed to be clean for whatever came next. Death and cleanliness tied together again. In Rome, soap had a strange reputation, known since the 1st century AD, but for a long time, mistaken for medicine rather than something you washed with. There's a popular legend that soap gets its name from a mountain where rain washed sacrificial fat and ash into a river, and women found their laundry came out cleaner. It's a great story. It's almost certainly a myth. No solid evidence it happened as described. Around 300 AD, a writer named Zosimos of Panopolis described real soap-making methods. No legend required. Picture a soap maker in Aleppo, stirring a giant copper vat of olive oil and laurel oil over open flame. The smell sharp and green, knowing this batch won't be ready to sell for another 6 months, because it has to age underground first. Between the 8th and 13th centuries, chemists in the Islamic world turned soap making into real chemistry. A chemist named Jabir ibn Hayyan documented methods for extracting caustic soda, advancing the reaction now called saponification. Aleppo soap, olive oil and laurel berry oil, aged in cellars, is often called the world's first modern solid bar. And there was a religious driver too. Islamic ritual purification before prayer meant washing wasn't optional, it was daily. From there, soap moved into Europe, likely through several routes rather than one dramatic moment, and turned into pure luxury. In Britain, it was taxed so heavily that owning soap became a mark of wealth, a tax that wasn't lifted until 1853. For most people, staying clean the way we do now simply wasn't affordable. It would take until the 1800s, thousands of years after that first mixture of ash and fat by a Mesopotamian river, for scientists to finally prove why soap worked. Germ theory confirmed what a Sumerian priest, an Egyptian mother, and an Aleppo soap maker had already sensed by instinct, generations apart, never knowing the others existed, that something invisible was out there, and washing it away could mean the difference between life and death. They didn't have microscopes. They had fear, curiosity, and thousands of years of trial and error. And that combination built the bar of soap sitting in your bathroom right now. If you'd lived back then, with no science, no explanation, just a feeling that something unseen was dangerous, do you think you'd have figured out soap before anyone told you why it worked? Let me know below.